We're kind of wet, yeah. It's Tuesday. Don't let the sky fool you. There's more rain coming, according to the forecast, later today and overnight into tomorrow, Wednesday morning. Then it's supposed to start clearing up tomorrow, and Thursday through like next Thursday look beautiful. So anyways, this is ready. Just fueled it up. Got the corn head out. Put that on. Made sure everything worked. Oh, I do have to do the greasing underneath it still. I'll wait until I get that backed up onto the cement floor tomorrow so I can do that, so I'm not crawling around in the run of crush. Everything worked. There's two settings that you can set for header height control. Both of them were memorized. I got everything inside on the computer set for, what my spacing is for the concave, rotor speed, sieves, all that kind of happy horse shit, which is, every year it's, I won't say a guess, but because you kind of know. But you set it, then you go, 50 feet, 100 feet, whatever. Get out, check, see how it's shelling the cobs, see what your sample looks like, blah, 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 blah. So, but yeah, we are ready. Probably tomorrow I will pull this out, and Barb and I will probably start on like the headland part over here on the test plot that we can get off, and at least get enough picked tomorrow afternoon after the rain stops to be able to get the dryer filled and get the dryer set and going, and then start hammering away on Thursday. That's the plan, at least. All right, so, oh, by the way, I had to go to the train station again this morning. I don't know if I mentioned that. So, I'm not good remembering names, but Farm Boy, I think it was, who had a good eye and mentioned, he said, "Hey, is your bolt missing on the outside of that big sprocket?" Well, apparently it is. So I just got off the phone with Larry. I mean, everything still looks lined up. I know it's dark back here, but I don't know. So the bolt is like $3.50. The fucking washer, which apparently holds that on, and it's been subbed to something new, so the fact that it fell off, and to be honest, because I'm just going to be honest, come on, you bitch, get out of the hole. I'm not sure it fell off this year. It could have fell off last year, and I never noticed it. But the washer is $22.50 or something, so $26 for that bolt and washer. Holy shit. And then I was just going through and taking these plugs out to check the gearboxes. Yeah, I asked Larry, I said, because the third one was the one that and that came out fairly easy, was the gearbox that was leaking a year ago or whatever that they fixed under warranty. The rest, they're supposed to be like 7.2 foot-pounds. Yeah, I want to meet the fucking Hulk that put those on. I'm having to put the 10 millimeter, another wonderful thing, some things are fucking metric, some aren't. The 10 millimeter T Allen wrench in there and put a fucking wrench on the handle to break them loose. Yeah, 7.2 foot-pound my ass. I want to meet the Hulk that put that together. Holy shit. So I got 3 out of the 8 so far, but it's lunchtime, so I'm gonna go eat lunch. All right, I got that done. Other than 2 of them that I gotta, this one and the end one, I gotta turn it on, let the chain move so it's not right over the plug, but the other 6 are done. Okay, for those that'll say, well, don't you check those every year? No, I usually check them every couple of years, because unless you see oil on the ground, because you can see it from behind like we saw it. It was either last year or the year before when they took it back. Might have been 2 years ago, I don't remember. The first year. No, it was last year, because it was after the first year that it was parked up there on the cement on the header cart, and all of a sudden there was a puddle of oil underneath it. So the old John Deere heads, they used, and you guys that still run the ones with grease, you used to have a guy, you had the head all the way up, the guy was underneath, or whoever, usually it was my wife, was either up here or underneath, pumping grease in the grease fitting while somebody had this plug out, standing here watching, and when you saw the grease finally start coming up, you quit, put the plug back on. Those ones we checked every year because the grease, I don't know what the good word for it is, but it disappeared. It kind of dissipated or whatever. 80, 90 oil ain't really going anywhere unless you got a leak, like the one that they fixed under warranty because the seal was bad. So, and when those leak, you know it because there'll be oil all over the ground underneath it. So I think we're ready. Boy, really tempted to go out there right now, but I hate to uncover, open up the weapon, get the auger set, you know, dropped in, and fuck around for the rain that I know is still coming. So we're gonna wait till tomorrow. That, and we got 1.1 inches of rain, so it won't hurt to let the ground soak it in a little bit. Good Wednesday morning. Yeah, it rained obviously more last night. Actually rained kind of hard. So we've had 1.5 inches of rain since Sunday, but we will be starting here. It's a little after 10 right now, 10:15, probably after lunch. It's supposed to all be gone, but the sky still looks a little But I gotta back that up when we get ready. Put the feeder house lock down so it's locked and get underneath and grease those grease fittings I was talking about. Got my drill out, charging batteries, the light. I don't know where I got that John Deere light. Somebody gave it to me, or I won it or something, but that's the drill. You've seen how we clean the dryer on the outside, the screens when they get shitty, once or twice a week at least. I used to do it every day, but you know what? I'm getting too old to go up there and fuck with it every day, so I gotta get the lawnmowers moved out of the way too. I think I'll pack them in over here on the other side of the planter. I still gotta clean the old piece of shit John Deere one off that we mow around the barn and bins. I might do that right now when I'm done talking to you. I figure when Barb comes out, I'll have her grab that tongue. I'll push here on the header cart with the loader, with the bucket. Push that forward enough to get it where I want it for winter. Because I've decided I'm not putting any water on this. It's pretty damn clean, just blowing it off. And I'm not going to worry about little speckles like that. So, water makes rust. I definitely don't want to get water in the floor pan area and all that. Like I said, you chase beans around forever. There's the bean, trying to blow it off, but it is what it is. So all we're doing today, and I'll show you, is probably picking 2 or 3 loads, truck loads, to start, put it in the wet bin, fill the dryer like I showed you during beans, cook the first batch to get it down to where roughly I want it, then start running it through the dryer into the bin. And do my samples to get the dryer running where I want the dryer to run. So, and while we're opening that field up, and they're coming Friday morning, today's Wednesday, like I said, at 10:30 to do the test plot. Whether I film it or not, I don't know. You've seen it before. It's quite boring. Pick 8 rows up, dump on Barb. She goes and dumps on the weigh wagon. They do all their testing and weigh it. Dump it on the truck. Pick 8 rows back down. Dump it on Barb. She goes and dumps it on the weigh wagon wherever the trucks are parked in the driveway. They do their testing. Dump it on the truck. Yeah, it's thrilling, but so, yep. But that's the goal for today. And I'll calibrate the combine for corn, just like I calibrated it for beans. Speaking of which, just so you know, because I thought this was pretty damn good, Barb figured up all the totals for the weight, the cart, because we got the scales on the cart. And she had 70 bushel more than what the computer on the combine showed for all of the acres. That's pretty damn good to be that accurate, in my opinion. I mean, if you took, well, you can't see it, but that 40-acre bean field that I had you with me out back here, if at the end of that 40-acre bean field, the combine and the scales on the cart were 70 bushel off on a 40-acre field, that'd be pretty impressive. But the fact that it was a 70 bushel difference for the entire season for all the beans, I'd say the combine was pretty damn accurate after when we calibrated. And we calibrate it every year for those that, so when I'm showing, you know, like in beans, when I show the yields, when some of them were in the 70s and 80s, and some of them were in the 30s and 40s, yes, that's true. When I show you the corn, when some of it's in the 200s, and then like around the outsides of the fields where the woods are, it'll be 100, 110. Yes, that's true. So it's the average that you worry about, or that you know, want to be good. And the total for the beans, for what we came up with, was 53.4 or 53.5 bushel to the acre. So for this year, I'll take that. Like I said, during beans, we had some really good beans, we had some good beans, and then we had some not so good beans. But we didn't really have any terrible shitty beans. We just had too many hills that, you know, like if that cornfield on top of the hill being gravelly and being a hill, if that had been beans this year, that probably wouldn't have been as great. And I'm curious if the corn going up over that hill will be as great, because we were too dry in June and July, plenty of moisture in August, which pretty much saved us. Come on, Mother Nature, seriously. The sun's trying to shine, and I don't know if you can hear it on the roof, but you can obviously see it on my truck, and it's sprinkling. And there's grass, because I got the lawnmower up here and blew it off and parked them over there out of the way. Got the gator outside out of the way. Seriously, I mean, it's almost 11:30. I don't know. I'm not gonna pull that back in. Fuck it. I'll leave it out in hopes that that makes it stop raining. Yeah, I know it's not going to, but it's not like it's raining hard, but it's this bullshit lake effect swirling stuff off Lake Ontario. Sunshine and rain. Yep, gotta love it. Hopefully it ends here in the next hour or so, which it's supposed to. Crazy. Alright, it's almost 1 o'clock and it looks like it's finally gone. I don't know. So anyways, I'm stuffed up today. I want to get some political shit out of the way. Yeah. So I went over to the house, eat lunch. Yeah, we didn't have to eat in the combine and tractor today. So shaved steak sandwich too. It was really good. Anyway, sitting there eating lunch, watching the local news, watching the weather. Fucking phenomenal for like the next 7-8 days in a row after today. But anyways, the commercials. Okay. So there was a commercial on there from Chuck Schumer about, you know, giving billions of dollars in grants, you know, to the chip companies and all this shit, you know. And then it was funny, there was a story on the news right after that commercial about how Walgreens is closing shit tons of stores all across the country. Yep. I don't know. So apparently, you know, we don't need a Walgreens for somebody to be able to walk in and get some cough syrup or something, or have a face-to-face with a pharmacist and whatnot. No, we gotta give billions of dollars of our tax money in grants to chip companies and shit like that, because that's what's gonna save our country. Chuck Schumer also stood at a podium yesterday and made a speech, I think it was, about how we need these immigrants coming into this country because the birth rate in this country has dropped so dramatically. It's at a historic low. So we need these immigrants to come in to, you know, be able to fill jobs because of the birth rate being so low. Yeah, Chuck Schumer, a grand old Democrat who's all for abortion. So let's kill the babies so that our birth rate is so fucking low, and bring in illegals from another country because we need to fill those jobs, and let's just give them citizenship and everything else that, you know, we've been giving them. Yeah, explain that to me with your cool sunglasses, and Ronnie Riel and the rest of you. And then right after that, I saw another commercial. I mean, literally, this is like during our noon news. It's a Kamala commercial where this guy who's a basketball coach for teenage girls, it shows them on a, you know, outside basketball court and the girls playing basketball and stuff. And it's for our local, some of you have heard of Brandon Williams from here in New York, who's our congressman. John Mannion, the Democrat who's running against him, is a retired school teacher. I'm sorry, enough said. We know which side of the aisle he's on, because he's a Democrat and a retired school teacher who is in our state government right now, but he's running against Brandon Williams for U.S. Congress seat for this area. And the commercials, this coach is going, I'm voting for John Mannion because Brandon Williams wants to take the rights away from these girls. It's exactly what he said, these girls, not women, these girls. And then he went into a tirade about abortion. Okay, number one, the Republicans are trying to support these girls' rights by keeping the fucking swinging dicks out of their goddamn sports. Number two, that was the most sickening fucking commercial I've ever seen. When you start using teenage girls and abortion to try and get your point across about taking away these girls' rights. But yet, Chucky and the rest of the Democrats, oh, we need the illegals because our birth rate is so low? What the fuck? Wake up, people. Explain that to me, you libtards that like to come in here and argue. Black women make up almost 40, it's like 39% of the abortions in this country. Okay, if blacks are 13% of the population, if it's close to 50-50, that means there's 6 to 6.25% of them are black women. How much of that 6% are of the age to be able to give birth? I don't know, split it in half again, let's say. Don't quote me, because I don't know if these are purely accurate numbers, but let's say 3% are of the age where they could get pregnant. So almost like 39 to 40% of the abortions happening in this country are coming from 3% of the population. But yet, Kamala is out there and the rest of them are out there. You black people need to vote Democrat. The Republicans are evil. They're evil. Look at what Trump's done to the black population. All right, let's look at it. Let's see. Remember the SAVE Act? They got a lot of black people out of jail who had really unjustly long sentences that they shouldn't have had for minor things like drug charges. Yeah, how about the record black unemployment when Trump was president? Record black unemployment when Trump was president. How about the economic investment that Trump put into black colleges and yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. What's the other word for college? Holy shit, I'm having a brain fart. So, but universities, yeah. Whew. The record number of the record money that he put into black colleges and universities. Oh, and while I went to lunch, I grabbed our mail. I mean, I'm at a loss for words with all this. You know, Trump is going to kill the country, get us into World War III, which the Democrat Biden and Harris have pretty much already done. You know, ruin the black population. He's done more for the black population than fucking Obama or Biden and Harris did. But anyways, excuse me. In the mail today was an Amazon package. How Democrats Have Made America Great. Everything You Need to Know by Wayne Allen Root. Now, when I saw that, I thought, oh, fucking hater sent me this. Dickhead, whoever it would be. But, so on the back, it has this writing. So you probably aren't going to be able to read it very well, so I'll just read it to you. For the first time in modern history, our team of preeminent researchers has compiled an exhaustive, detailed archive of every single contribution the Democratic Party has made to America's greatness. We studied every category possible, from supporting economic growth to defense of our nation, protecting our borders, to promoting world peace, fixing our healthcare system, to protecting our environment, achieving social justice and equality, to supporting the U.S. Constitution, promoting fair elections, to their Herculean efforts to bring the citizens of our nation together. We are confident you will find yourself both spellbound, and astounded by the depth and quality of the Democratic Party's accomplishments, and will delight in every page. So I was just like, what the fuck? All right, whoever sent this to me, you got to admit to it, because this was cool. So I can give you a shout out in the next video. Here's the pages. Yep. That was fucking awesome. Every single page is empty. After the first one, nothing. 130, I think it was. Hang on. Yeah, like 130 pages of emptiness. I told Barb I'm going to keep that book out here because all them empty pages I can use to write shit down on. But that was awesome. So tell me who you were. That was awesome. And I'm still going to get a little bit of combining on this video today, but here's kind of a one more thing, because it's one more thing from what I saw on the news. So for anybody who might actually watch the WNBA, I don't. Breanna Stewart is on one of the two teams that's in the finals now. She's an excellent women's basketball player. She's local. She went to Cicero North Syracuse High School here, I don't know, 20 some miles away, whatever. She played at Connecticut, won national championships, playing for Gino Ariema. And she's probably been the best player in the WNBA league for quite a few years now. She's also a lesbian, which I don't give a shit about. And her wife, who's another retired professional basketball player, it was on our news. I guess it was on ESPN also, which I don't watch, about how they got hate email, I guess, homophobic hate email. So they alerted the NBA, the league, and they alerted authorities. I'm just wondering, should I alert authorities for some of the people that have left some really nasty shit on my channel here? Or do I realize that's the world we live in, good or bad? But anyways, I'm not saying it's not true, but I want to see the emails. And then I want to see the person who supposedly sent them and find out what kind of punishment they get or whatever. So, like I said, I'm not saying it's not true, but we all remember Jussie Smollett and whatnot. And have you noticed this? Because I have, the last few weeks especially. Every football game you watch, I'm a Yankees fan, so I've been trying to watch the MLB playoffs. Every baseball game you watch, the hate commercials, have you been seeing those? With all the different coaches that get into their huddles and this is the most important time, there's hate in the world and blah, blah. Did you remember seeing these hate commercials 6 months ago? Or is it just because we're in the last month until an election? Basically 3 weeks away from an election. And now all of a sudden it's Jussie Smollett shit all over again. And hate commercials. And I'm just saying. I can see what's in front of my eyes. Can anybody else? Does anybody else remember being literally bombarded with these hate commercials 6 months ago? But now, the middle of October, or since about the 1st of October, you can't turn on a sporting event without seeing them. Hey, just pointing out the obvious. Let's go pick some corn and get the dryer set. We're going. Getting the headlands up. I'm thinking it's going to be pretty good corn. Right there it's running about 19.9. Right now it's running in the 230s and 240s. Field average is 183. because along the top here in the headland there wasn't a lot, because it's just what the headlands are on our fields when you got trees and shit. So, but at 185, the bushel per acre is jumping dramatically because the yield is jumping dramatically. Right now it's at 250 and 19.8. So, don't know how well you can see it because of the glare. There's the corn. I gotta remember to bring some glass cleaner and rags in the back when I put my extensions down in the auger and clean my fucking window. But pretty good clean sample. I'm actually going a little slower than, I'm going 3.5, 3.6. I normally run 3.8, but yeah, she's yielding pretty good. I'm gonna be curious to see what the test weight is. So I think pretty good. But all right, it's also that though. There's some spots where it looks like the wind whipped the shit out of it pretty good. All right, I'm in the middle of doing a calibration. I went up and I'm going, you know, I went that way, then I'm going back this way. Still yielding in the 200s, so I went back. I can go back to the calibration page. That's what it's doing. It's just basically adding up the weight. And then at the end I'll stop it, tell her my weight, dump, she'll tell me the weight, what the cart said, and we'll compare them. And that's how we do it. Generally it takes a couple times to get close, but we have been pretty much right on before. So we don't need any more wind because it's starting to whip the tops off of the stalks, and then they break off in the head and go through and just make that much more trash. But it is what it is. Alright, I'm turning you off because I'll be dumping and measuring here shortly. Alright, Barb just told me she had 8,380. So I'm entering that. I had 8,288. So we're talking less than 100 pounds difference in over 4 ton. So we're gonna do one more, see what happens. The fact that it was only 92 pounds off, that's not horrible, but we're gonna do one more just to see. So I've got it back, tailing it up, and I can go back to my run screen while that's happening and see everything going on. I know the glare today, I can tell by looking in the camera, it's a bitch, so you're not going to be able to see the screen very good, but right now it's bouncing between 19.7 and 19.8 for moisture, which is what I made it in the moisture tester, so it's not picking up anything through the combine. It's rolling in the 220s, 230s up through here. I am definitely not dissatisfied with what's going on with this field, that's for sure. So, very satisfied. We will see what happens with us, and then we will probably go, I don't know, I don't have very many more I can do until I'm over to the test plot anyhow. So, like I said, I didn't figure it'd be much over 3 trucks. And yes, I know I can go up into this field and blah blah blah, but I want to get the dryer squared away today so that tomorrow we can actually get rolling and keep rolling. Seeing Friday is going to be part of the day messing with the test plot, and then, you know, actually doing something. All right, so we are done with the whole calibration thing. I had like 9,450, and she had like 9,480. So yeah, that's close enough on almost 5 ton. Be off by 30 or 40 pounds. I wasn't going to keep doing them over and over and over. So now we're just going to get off what's left of, you know, not test plot, and then she's going to start dumping the Ford, so then I can start doing the whole dryer routine, which I will bring you along for some of it. All right, same with beans. First fill. Well, you know what? I got to check Moisture controls on auto, yes. Everything's the way I want it, but so we are first filling. Basically the same process, so it is going up the wet bin auger, filling the dryer. Corn is a lot louder, so it's filling column 1, then it'll be 2, 3, 4, 5, blah, 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 blah. When I do start dumping, it'll be that bin first. Alright, the only difference I'm doing here is, being this corn was running between 19 and 20%. Alright, it's going to be loud because of the fan. Your burner is in here. So from this section of the dryer down, so not a very big section, it's going to be wet corn. Because I'm going to, once I fill it, turn the heat on. I think it's 5 minutes per point, or 6 minutes per point. Ooh, sweet. Anyway, you look at it, I'm going to let it sit for 20-25 minutes, drying, and then let it start feeding through. So there's going to be 19-20% corn on the bottom. Yes, I could open the doors, the floor doors, to let the heat go down to the bottom. But that 19 to 20% corn will be on the bottom of the bin, and we'll get the piss pounded out of it by the fan, so it'll dry. I'm not going to worry about it. Normally I did the whole bullshit of change the flipper valve up there, which I can see, you might not be able to see. If corn was 22, 23, 24%, we'd be doing this. We'd be parking a truck out here, letting it roll through into the truck until it got down to the moisture I wanted it, then stopping it, flipping it to a bin, and start filling the bin. But like I said, I'm not worried about 19% corn being on the very floor of the bin, because it's going to get a lot of air through it, and that'll dry it down. Even if it dries it down to 16, you're only talking, I don't know, less than 100 bushel, let's put it that way. Less than 100 bushel spread out. Whew, the fines spread out throughout the whole floor of that bin. Yeah, we'll be okay. All right, folks, I'm cooking now, and it's finally going back up because I'm trying to cook it for a half an hour at 6 minutes per point at 220 degrees. Now it's going up, but let's see, what time is it? 3:44, so we're gonna say quarter after 4. But it was sitting at 115, and that number was 115. See, these are all the things that we have to try to remember, because it's like from year to year, it's complicated. Well, what I forgot was on my moisture control, I had it on auto still for beans. I mean, I had it switched over to corn, as you can see, but I needed to be in manual in order for the heat to get up to manual, you know, to 220. When I put it in auto, that 220 will jump up and down just like it did in beans. Generally it'll go down, might go down to 210 the drier the corn is, shit like that. But I gotta remember, once I cook it for this half an hour, to go back in to moisture control and put it back to auto so that everything runs right. But I sat here for 5 minutes going, why the fuck are you stuck on 115? I don't get it. If it don't move, I'm gonna have to cook it for an hour instead of a half an hour, because I knew it was 100, at least 100 degrees less than what it was supposed to be. Yeah, then I remembered. There's way too much shit to remember in this game that we play called farming.
Justice of the United States back in the business of justice. We will double the Civil Rights Division and direct law enforcement to counter this extremism. We will hold social media platforms accountable for the hate infiltrating their platforms because they have a responsibility.
Are you getting it
to
yet,
fight
folks?
against this threat to our democracy. And if you profit off of hate, if you act as a megaphone for misinformation or cyber warfare, if you don't police your platforms, we are going to hold you.
In other words, if you don't do and say as the Democratic Party wants you to, they're going to go after you. But yet, so I'm, got nothing to do for this half an hour, so I'm watching YouTube videos. But yet earlier in that video, they showed her in Pennsylvania talking to people, telling them how Donald Trump was going to use the military to go after people who don't vote for him and don't worship him. How the fuck, in this fact check world we live in, are the Democrats allowed to say the biggest bullshit fucking lies? Like, when has Trump ever said he's going to use the military to go after people who don't vote for him? Oh, I'm so fucking sick and tired of all this bullshit. You people on the left, fuck you. And fuck you to the 90% of the Republicans that suck too, because I can at least say that. You fucking lefty lunatics that get on here, you're just so far up the fucking left's ass that you can't admit that, 100% of your party sucks ass. But oh my God, it's just, the half an hour that I gotta wait for this to cook is just, maybe I should have got a deck of cards and played fucking solitaire or something. I don't know. Alright, I've got it running. Right now it's showing 19.9 and 17.5 coming out, which is actually a little better than I thought coming out. But then again, if you look, temperature's at 220, 221. Temperature at the bottom of the dryer is in the 140s. So the heat was getting down anyhow. So I'm gonna let it run for 20 minutes probably, and then I'll start taking some samples to make sure the numbers are right. Basically, I want to see that get down to, my target of 14.8 before I start fucking with that. So, but the wet moisture is, 19.9. I mean, you all saw what I hand shelled it a week ago. You all saw what it was in the combine. So obviously the wet moisture is pretty tight to what it's supposed to be. So that shouldn't take long to zero that in. Like I said, I'm not gonna mess with the dry until it gets down to reasonably where I want it. High 14s, low 15s. Then I'll do some 2-minute samples and try and get it zeroed right in. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? Yes, we're running at full auto. There we go. Dummy, yes. We were running at full speed through the dryer. We didn't want to be at full speed. I knew I'd forget something. Alright, so now that I got it back on auto like it's supposed to be, the temperature is running pretty steady around 211. The rate is down to 38. It was at 70, which was, because I had it on freaking manual instead of auto. Dummy. That rate's probably gonna go back up a little bit. I'm probably gonna have to wait more than 20 minutes before I start doing samples, because right now it's slowed it down because it's saying, the dry is coming out at 17.6, which it is. That's the stuff at the bottom that really didn't get the full heat. It just got, as you can see, burner 2 means bottom, which I don't have an actual burner 2. So when that gets down, to a constant between 14, it's probably going to get down, let's put it this way, into the 13s, and then it's going to go back up to high 15s, and then it's going to start leveling up. That's why day 1 sucks. So, but there's enough in the wet bin that, I can spend the next hour and a half, 2 hours out here diddle-dicking with it to get it where it needs to be. But I don't think it should take that long once I get that wet corn out of the bottom and it starts funneling just all dry corn through, because the wet moisture is just tits. I mean, that's pretty spot on to what the combine was making things to. So yeah, there's your explanation on that. But don't be a dummy and forget things and leave it on manual when you're supposed to be on auto, and put it on manual when you first do it, and yeah, you've seen it all. Alright, this video is getting long, so I'm gonna end it, but there's what I'm talking about. See, dry moisture 13.2, wet moisture still staying consistent. It was 19.9, now it says 20, you know, 1/10 of a point, whoopee. So this is too dry. The rate was just 34, it jumped up to 39 because it recognizes that it's too dry. So like I said, it's a cycle. Once it gets a full cycle through it and enough corn through it, it'll get itself leveled off, and then I'll start taking my test to make sure it's zeroed in where I want it to be, which it will be. So, but this happens every year when you start, unless you're starting with 16% corn and you only got to dry it a point or so, you know, then you're luckier. But I'm satisfied with what's going on. I just gotta wait and do that. So here's your one more thing. Or actually, before the one more thing, there's something else I want to say. Somebody on the video, last video, I should have wrote your name down because I forgot. I'm busy, sorry. But you asked, should we watch you here or Rumble? Well, first of all, some of you have gone to Rumble because I'm up to like 475 or something. And yes, I know it comes up two different, or two, it's the same one. Follow both. I don't, you know, if that confuses you, but there's two there. It's weird. Don't ask. Barb explained it to me. But anyways, I tried to reply to you 4 or 5 different times, and every time I did, it come up error. It would not let me reply to you. I could reply to every other fucking comment on the last video but yours, asking me, should we follow you here or Rumble? Isn't that funny how yours came up error every time? And I did it at least 4 or 5 times. I got out of YouTube, came back and tried to do it. Error. So there's your answer. I'm just saying, if Camel Toe wins, I just showed you that little clip. You know, people like me might not be on YouTube anymore. And hopefully Rumble stands strong. I don't know. Maybe all of social media will just be, it'll be the Democrat social media. So me and Ronnie Riel and all the rest of you will be so happy because you'll all be on your joyful little social media all together. Yeah, and won't have to worry about any of us. Yeah, isn't that a great fucking country? Yep. I mean, Trump's gonna bring in the military. Yep, but yet you're gonna dictate the fucking social media. So here's your one more thing. Get your Grumpy Farmer apparel. Get your Are You Getting It Yet shirt, especially, so that you can fucking shove that in somebody's face, and when they go, what's that mean? You'll know they're not getting it. So, and we'll see you in the next one, which will be us doing corn again. But you don't need to see any more of the boring getting the computer set.